back to the card valuation stream. We're Grinning Go, Lightforge podcast. This is Forge of the Barrens. We're doing Priest. This is ADWCTA.
This is Merps. We're doing Priest. This is everyone's favorite class. Everyone loves Priest. Oh my gosh. You're going to be so happy that Priest got no good spells. Just kidding. They got so many good cards. Let's go through them one by one. First, we have Condemn. Condemn is a 2-mana epic holy spell. This is their rank card. So rank 1, it's 2 mana, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. It's an arcane explosion. Great. Rank 2, after 5 mana, it deals 2 damage to all enemy minions. And then rank 3, it deals 3 damage to all enemy minions. That's pretty good. So we have this at an A tier. Just does what you need. The perfect thing about this is it just scales, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, I need more firepower on in the mid game, like on turn 5. Great. Here's a consecration, and then afterwards, here is your one-sided hellfire, right? On turn 10, it's kind of exactly what you need. Like it plays into the priest game plan as well, where you want to be able to remove, you want to be able to do all of this stuff, set up your own board. So it's a good A tier card for priest.
Yep. I have no extra comments on this. It's good.
And you shouldn't.
It is epic. It is epic. So you're not going to see that often, which is nice.
Yep. Okay. We have 2 other A tier cards. Thankfully, these are legendaries. Okay. These are legendaries. First, we have Serena Bloodfeather. It's a 2-mana 1/1 battle cry. Choose an enemy minion. Steal attack and health from it until this has more. So this does like a suck. It siphons attack and health. And what you want to do is for any big minion, obviously this is not a 2-drop, but this is kind of like that Aldor Peacekeeper effect. Mm-hmm. Where you're taking stats away from something, but here you're also building something. So if it's really big, then suddenly you are guaranteed for 2 mana to overpower it, right? Just really good, very very useful for the vast majority of the game. The only downside is it's not a 2-drop. That's it.
Yep. I don't have much more to say about this. It's Argent Bragger on like steroids, but it doesn't affect your own side.
Yes, it's ridiculously good. It's an A card. Next, we have another legendary minion, Zarella. 4 mana 4/4 battlecry. If you've restored health this turn, deal that much damage to all enemy minions. Once again, why? I'm definitely not playing around this card. Look, so at the very least, on turn 6, you have a consecration that also puts out a 4/4 body, and it heals you for 2. This is like very least. You're not comboing it with anything. There's better heals in the game. There are better heals. There's larger heals.
Merps,
and
are we getting any heals in Forged in the Barrens for priest?
I mean, yes, we are. Okay, we're getting some heals. Not all of them are great, but let's continue onwards. Okay. All right. Next, we have a couple of B tier cards. First, we have Priest of Anshi. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a 5 mana 5/5 taunt. So 5 mana 5/5 taunt. It's a little bit less than what you should get these days, but it's fine. Battle cry. If you've restored health this turn, gain +3/+3. Wow. Okay. It's really freaking good. It's a B tier card. Once again, there's many ways in order for you to heal. You can always just play it on turn 7 by healing your face, and then you can play effectively a 7 mana Ironbark Protector that also heals your face for 2. Not bad.
Pretty good.
Next we have Light Shower Elemental, B tier. This is a 6 mana 6/6 elemental with taunt, death rattle, restore 8 health to all friendly characters. This includes your face. This one
Hmm.
was your face.
Does
Yes.
this synergize with anything?
Seems to synergize with a lot of stuff. Now, I think some people might look at this and be like, wait, this is absolutely bonkers. And it's not
Hmm.
absolutely bonkers. Like it's overheal a lot of times, whether it is on your face, whether it is on your board. As a priest, you want to have big minions. You're not always going to have big minions. You're not always going to have a ton of minions. The heal on your face is sometimes relevant, not always relevant. It's a lot of heal and it's great, but a lot of times it's a 6 mana 6/6 taunt with a bonus, like
Yeah. And
a
also,
bonus.
a lot of the times, honestly, as priest, you don't want to heal too much because a bunch of your stuff triggers on healing. So if you ever heal your face to full, stop being able to use certain cards, like one that may destroy enemies that you may be relying on. So this card is like it's B tier. B tier is good. A 6 mana 6/6 taunt without any abilities would be like C tier.
Yeah.
So it's getting quite a lot for this death rattle ability. And again, it's a death rattle ability, so your opponents can trigger it if they kill it on their turn.
Okay.
You're not in full
Next,
control.
yes. Next we have C plus tier. This is the only C plus or C tier card that we have for priest. It is Soothsayers Caravan. We have this at a C plus. Soothsayers Caravan is a 2 mana 1/3. At the start of your turn, copy a spell from your opponent's deck to your hand. I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you guys right now, this is a card that I fought with ADWCTA about because I like this card. Um, I I would have been okay with this at a B tier.
So it doesn't protect itself.
Nope, it doesn't protect itself.
You're also a priest, so you put it out on turn 2. You better be able to buff it if it lives. Otherwise, you're not doing a lot with this 1/3. It's not the paladin caravan. It's not the soldier's caravan that can protect itself. And in the late game, as the priest, if your 2 mana 1/3 that you dropped is not being removed by the opponent immediately from the board, then you've already won the game. Like this is kind of a pointless card in the end game, unless you're like running out of cards, and this will make sure you don't run out of cards, right? But you're already in a very good position if you can get this to stick in the end. So it's not good when you need it to be good. It is kind of my main problem with the design of this card. That being said, it's still a C plus. It's still good. I'll take it over a Yeti. Like it's potential to draw a ton of cards. And like even just as a 2-drop, right? Like it kind of functions and as a priest, what do you want your 2-drops to be, right? Just kind of like there. And if you do have buffs and you need it to be there and buff it, this becomes really good. So there's enough outs for it to become like a hit that I think it justifies it being like a C plus. But in many, if not most situations, this is going to be kind of a little bit of an underwhelming card as far as the caravans go.
Yeah. So I think this is fine as a C plus. I fought for it to be a little bit higher. It's fine. It's fine where it is. But yeah, caravans are a real threat. And we've looked at quite a few that are like average and one that's just bonkers good. But caravans they're just supremely annoying. So
Yeah, anytime in the arena you tell your opponent, hey, you have to do something now, that's a
yeah,
big threat because your opponent didn't make their deck. They don't know your deck. They don't see this stuff coming. So they're like scrambling and they better have an answer that they just happen to randomly have in their hand or board. And if they don't, they lose the game, right? So that's all very powerful.
okay. Next, we're going to the D plus. Oof, D plus. We have Devouring Plague. This is a 3 mana shadow spell. Lifesteal. Deal 4 damage split, randomly split among all enemy minions. That's not bad. And 3 mana 4 damage is decent, but it's random. So
Mm-hmm.
the lifesteal is good, fine. But it's random. So it's just like, okay, well, you're paying a lot for some random effects. It holds it back.
Yeah, like if you want to kill something, it's not guaranteed to kill it unless they have very little health on the board. and then
Yeah.
it's still 3 mana. Like this is you're paying a lot for the fact that it's healing you.
Yeah. Look, you can set it up perfectly, or you can just say, oh, it can trade with their, like their 3-drop that they just dropped. Yeah, it could. It's fine. It's just like it's gonna be awkward. And then in the times in which it's not awkward, you're not getting like more than what you should, right?
Mhm.
You're not getting more damage than what you should. And for the lifesteal, there's so many heals. So you just really don't need it as a priest. You
Yeah.
just really don't. Like the lifesteal for some classes that might be that this might be hugely beneficial for. For priests, you're like, oh, lifesteal again? Like,
Yeah.
oh, man. So it doesn't really matter. Okay. Next we have just the solid D. So these are no longer D plus, it's just D. We have Void Flare. Void Flare is a 4-mana 3/4 battle cry. For each spell in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy minion. This is very understated.
Mm-hmm.
Like Yeti is low C, remember? This is understated. And then in order to make up the stats, you have to have like quite a few spells in your hand, and then they're dealing it to random minions. So
yeah, and it's one at a time. Again, it's split. If your enemy, if your opponent has like 2 minions, then man, I kill any of them, even if you have enough spells. Like, I also don't get this whole like thing that's happening here. Why are priests dealing dealing damage to random minions? Since when is that a priest thing?
since when is Death Rattles a Demon Hunter thing? I don't know, man. They're just introducing stuff.
I mean,
It's cool.
fair.
It's cool. All right. The next D tier card is Power Word Fortitude. Whew. Power Word Fortitude is an 8-mana spell. Huge. Give a minion +3/+5. Costs 1 less for each spell in your hand.
In Constructed, you may have 1,000,000 spells in your hand. In Arena,
right.
You will not.
So you guys might be asking, why isn't this an F? Buffs are good.
Yeah.
Buffs are still good. You will have spells in your hand. Now, sometimes you're like, am I okay with a 5-mana 3/5 sometimes?
Yeah, or like a 6-mana
Fine.
3/5 even.
That's fine.
Like,
A 6-mana 3/5, that's fine. Like, you don't have to be mana efficient on Priest. Priest, if you remember the playstyle, you're actually just hanging tons of mana lots of times. Like, hanging a ton of mana lots of times. Now, the playstyle is going to change, right? Because it's going away from that sort of just like purely weight and the mind control, like just be a scumbag kind of thing. But you're still not going to be like, for example, a paladin just trying to fill up the board, be mana efficient, and then kill them in the mid game or slash mid game. It's different. You see all this heal synergy as well. So this is a D instead of an F. But it's not a good card.
Yeah, D's are bad. It's a Cabal Geomancer. Like, you don't want that.
Yep. Okay. Next, we have the one lone actual F tier card. It's Desperate Prayer. 0 mana, holy spell, restore 5 health to each hero. You are spending a card for this effect. It is a net like it's a net 0, right, for a card. And I understand sometimes you need the health. Yay, it combos with like the legendary card. It's an F. Yep. Okay. Let's talk about Priest for a second. Priest is one of those that is just going to look different because the card that has fundamentally defined the Priest ever since ever has been Mind Control. Mind Control is the Priest card. That's like the boogeyman, because Priest has typically been able to delay and then play that. So they don't have that. Like, if we talk about Priest, it's impossible to ignore them not having Mind Control anymore. Here, we see that they still do a lot of this Priest stuff, but they are more about the board now. You know, like they're more about the board. They're not so scummy. They're not this like pure scum. They're not stealing your stuff that often anymore. As in, Blizzard got rid of like the vast majority of their like steal cards. So Yeah, they're
I
annoying,
mean,
but they're not.
Soothsayers Caravan would like to have a word with you on that one.
Well, they're not stealing your minions.
Okay.
They're not stealing your minions, which I think for people is the most painful.
Yes.
Stealing spells, people aren't as pained about that.
It's not really
Uh,
stealing though. It's copying, right?
yeah, exactly. So, I if we're talking about how Forge and the Barrens fundamentally changed priests, it really didn't. It's really just the huge change from like priest before the core set to priest after the core set, because of the identity of this scumbag identity to now it's like, oh, you're closer to other classes in terms of what you do rather than this annoying stealing thing.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with priests. I can't find any cohesive thread here. It's like I think they're changing priest into mage that heals instead of deals direct damage. I
Something
think
like that.
that's it. I don't think anything else is really happening with this class. I don't know what combos they're trying to put in. Like, I think they really got rid of a lot of the priest's flavor, and they added weird things that I don't know if they're trying to make it happen or not. But I don't like it. You like I never liked priest, but when they change it's actually getting worse. Like it's getting more unlikable from a flavor perspective than before even. So I don't know. Um, you get Condemn, right? But it's an epic card, which is not the best because you won't see it that often. And then after that, you get some like Priest of Anshi, another epic. Those are your good cards. Light Shower Elemental is your one non-epic one, and I feel like Priest is going to come out fairly weak in
I think
this
so
in
too.
this expansion.
Yeah. Because they took away a very powerful tool or a very powerful kind of playstyle and didn't replace it with something that really makes up for
Yeah.
the power that they took away.
Yeah, there is none. Where the priest is going to have power is through like Dragonfire Potion. It's through like Mean Streets of Gachixan. Like that's where priests are going to get its power in this set. It's not from Forge of the Barrens.
Okay, that is priest.
Yep, that is priest. Let me see. I'm trying to think of what priest got in Rise of Shadows. Evil Conscriptor, that's fine. That's not super ridiculous. Hench Clan Shadequill coming back. Yeah, there's not like just a bunch of like decent cards, but there's no cohesive identity happening here.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Yep, that's it for Priest. We'll see you next. You want to give a shout out to the patrons before we head out?
Sure. So thank you guys. Nordoge, RV Night Train, Cheng Yin, Eric L, Aaron, Dan F, Doug A, Karova, Torjado, REG, 4P, and Brand New. Thank you guys for your support on Patreon. We'll see you in the next video where we're going to be talking about Rogue.
Rogue. All right, see you guys.